This is The Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Well, hey guys, a week goes by fast. We are back already for another episode of The Basketball Show. I'm Joe, that's Shane. Hammer, we've got a lot to get through. We're talking imports. There's a bit of controversy in the WNBL as well, which will be interesting. You need to stay tight-lipped, we know that. But we've had a lot of feedback this week as well, the discussion around the second team in Sydney and NBL expansion. What have you been hearing? It's been really good.
I think it was good. Having Paul Smith on, he's always good because he says what he thinks and people can love or hate him, but he creates opinion and speaks a lot of sense too. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. No doubt there will be two Sydney teams at some stage, but for me it sounds like it's going to be a couple of years away.
Yeah, okay. Well, plenty to get through. As I said, it's all thanks to TCL Mobile, 2K23 and UPCOZ and our broadcast partners Kayo and News Corp as well. Let's get into it. Let's get into our TCL starting five. Topping it off.
Have you noticed that Director Dave's put the advertising down here so you can't see my pen movement?
Oh.
I'm going to have to lift it up to keep the pen movement, I think.
Right, okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Very random. Anyway, as I was saying, Milton Doyle is
Oh,
number one on the list. He had 33 and 9 yesterday against Brizzy. We've sort of been having this discussion about which are the best or most impactful imports in the league, and he certainly has to be in that conversation, doesn't he?
He's a gun. 12 from 19 from the field, 9 rebounds, and for me, he comes up with his points at the right times as well. I think they've increased the value of their imports this year. I know they had a big loss with their shooting guard, but this kid's good, smart player, gets it done, really good addition, and he's part of the reason why they're really peppering the playoffs again.
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. It sort of leads us into the Bullets and the roller coaster that is Brisbane at the moment. Sammy Mack had his first win against the Wildcats, which I don't think a lot of people necessarily expected.
No.
The other night.
We didn't. I didn't. Did you?
I don't think I tipped it, no. They then went and obviously lost to Tassie. What have you made of the way that they are going about things at the moment? Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Well done to Sammy Mack for starters, and they've certainly turned things around just on their mindset and their body language. You can tell that this team's playing for Sammy right now. So that makes it a good move in itself. You've got everybody on the same page, playing with that sort of desire and toughness to be able to give yourself a chance to win against a desperate Perth Wildcats team as well. They'll really be ruining that loss, but feels like they're on the right track. Get the big fella back and see what happens.
Well, they have room for an import, so too do the Adelaide 36ers. Now, in terms of analysing where they're at the moment, Robert Franks and AC, they are excellent at times and then they can go a little bit quiet. Do you think that they really should be rushed to bring in someone else?
They shouldn't be rushed, but they need another player. Especially when you've got somebody like Mitch McCarron, who is their marquee player, really highly paid, really valuable leader, defender, distributor of the ball, but not a scorer. There's games where he'll only take a handful of shots. So I think that if they can bring somebody else in that's prepared to play a role and complement the other key players they've got, then why wouldn't you bring somebody in? They have to be of good character. They don't want to fall in the same trap as what they did last time, but that's why they have to be patient to get the right piece. Yeah,
tough loss to the Kings yesterday. Shout out to Chris Golding, who is on 997 three-pointers in his NBL career. So 3 more. They play tonight against the Hawks. He could hit the 1,000 mark. Just in terms of his longevity and the fact that he's still playing at the highest level, he's been such a superstar of the league.
Oh, he has. And his shooting is outstanding. Every time he gets it, he can be off balance. He can be 2 metres out. You still think he's going to make it. You're surprised when he misses. And congrats, mate. 1,000. Sure you're going to get it in the next game. Only 3. Jeez, he could have that by quarter time.
Where are you on the list?
Oh, be somewhere pretty high up, I would have thought. I don't know.
But you missed 6 years of the league as well. So
yeah, there was. But who's counting, Joe? 5 or 6 years away.
I love that you're trying to play this down.
No, I'm not.
I'm calling it absolute BS.
I don't know. I want to see how many everyone's made per game. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Give me that list for next week.
We'll hunt it out and we'll find it.
I wasn't bashful, that's for sure.
I've got to focus on the NBA very quickly. Anthony
Yes.
Davis is on an absolute tear at the moment, topping it off with 55 today against the Wizards. Are you loving this as much as Lakers fans are?
Oh, he frustrates me because he's averaging high 30s or something in the last 10 days. But that's what he's always been capable of. So where's he been the last couple of years when you're capable?
Injuries, right?
Injuries. It's all between his ears. You're kidding, are you? I heard Matt Barnes talk about AD and say if he had Giannis' IQ and motor, he would be the greatest player of all time. And to that, I say if I had handlebars and a couple of wheels, I'd be a bicycle. You can't just... Can you add those things in?
I don't know, he probably has a point.
Yeah, I know, but you could say that about so many different players. If Shaq had ball handling skills and could shoot the three, he'd be the most dominant as well.
Okay. Interesting discussion though.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's keep things moving. Time now for Points Made thanks to UPCOZ. As we do every week, let's bring in D Ruck, who's up there in Brisbane. D, how you doing this week?
Very well, Joe. Hammer, how are you? Tough weekend for you. Hang in there, buddy.
Sleepless nights. Don't worry about that.
Well, the WNBL is first off the ranks this week. We're talking about the physicality of the league, and in particular, one incident that occurred during the Bendigo-Townsville game. You can see Annalie Maley here pulling down Carly Samuelson, who's blocking at the time. It ended with Carly leaving the court. She went for a head assessment. She didn't return to the game, and it's now been reported that she's got neck injuries. Dee, just looking at this vision, I mean, it's pretty rough. Is this the kind of thing that you think should be looked at and sanctioned by the league potentially?
Well, Joe, I think this is going to be a very interesting case for the WNBL. Annalie Maley is a very physical player. We understand she's always in skirmishes. That's the way she plays the game. She's very successful in doing that. But in this instance here, Shane, it looks like she's actually dragged Samuelson down, and it's not in a manner to protect herself. Sometimes you get away with such play when you are yourself at risk and you need to use the other player to brace yourself. But in this case, Annalie, it looks like she's going down, and in this instance, it looks like it's a matter of if I'm going down, I'm taking somebody with me. And it's unfortunate that there's been this significant injury to the player involved, and I think the league is going to have to look at some type of punishment because it involves it involves the region above the neck, and we know how serious these injuries can be. And I would think at least to set an example, it's going to have to be a minimum of 2 games or 2 weeks, depending on how you look at it.
Now, Hammer, I know you probably can't speak too much to this just being involved in the league, but what are your thoughts generally?
Yeah, I don't want to comment about that specific incident, but what I will say is if you look at the AFL, NRL, NFL, all sports now are about protecting the head for all of the players, women, men, whatever. And, when there's a significant head injury caused by somebody else, then, you have to make a stand. The league has to make a stand because it's all about protecting players. So I'll be interested to see what happens with it. And stay tuned.
Yeah, thoughts are with Carly as well. Hopefully it's not too bad and we can see her back out on the court soon enough. Now, we're talking about the NBL and the Coach of the Year discussion because there are a few candidates. New Zealand Breakers, Motor Mayor, Sydney Kings, Chase Buford, and I'd throw Adam Ford in there as well at the Taipans. Hammer, what are your thoughts? Who's winning the race at the moment?
Well, it's a hard one. I mean, I think you've got to say Mayor has it at the moment, only because he's been able to put together...
You went away from your boy Chase? I can't believe it.
If you can let me finish. I think it's a difficult situation because what Mayor's done is he's selected a really good team and he's taken them from down the bottom and they're playing exceptional basketball. At defensive end, they're able to score as well. So based on improvement, he's been incredible. But it's tough for Chase because he's coming off a championship year. They're the top of the table team. Everyone's chasing them to be able to get there, and they've been able to maintain the sort of form they have, and particularly being able to get his team up to win on the road with the consistency he's had as well. They've both been exceptional for me.
Yeah, I think Adam Ford deserves a bit more credit than you're probably willing to give him by not mentioning him there. He's done an outstanding job with the Taipans. I love the fact that they have a resilience that they haven't shown in the past. The only problem is they're still unable to really establish a home fortress. So I would deduct him for that reason. But then again, they're really good on the road. So I think these next 10 games will really kind of determine where he sits in that Coach of the Year running. Right now, though, I'd have Modi Mayor in front. I think the Breakers are the best team, and he's done the best job. So I think we agree there, Shane.
All right, guys, Draymond Green has caused a little bit of a stir. He's listed his top 5 players of all time. Hammer, I know that you do not agree with this. So in this order, he says LeBron is the GOAT. It's then MJ, Kobe, Steph, and Shaq. The floor is yours.
Well, he's a fanboy. He's with Clutch. He's so far kissing the arse of LeBron James with every opportunity he can. Isn't he a business partner and everything else? He wants to put down Michael Jordan. But please, I'm not even going to give my top 5, but to be able to say that you're the best player from 2005 to 2020 every year is just, it's just not right. When you look at Tim Duncan, when you look at Kobe and his domination during that period, you look at Steph Curry, even Steve Nash won an MVP during that period, didn't he? Unbelievable. Won two. So when you look at that, to be able to say that LeBron was the best every year is just not factually correct. But it doesn't surprise me because Draymond is trying to look after himself in the business world and for whatever that means, but he is just all over LeBron. Now, are you paid by Clutch as well, Derek?
No, I wish I was, though. Let me tell you. Check this out. Number 1 all time is Michael Jordan. And all you millennials, you included, Joe, LeBron is not.
Don't bring me into this
Michael
discussion.
Jordan, okay? Let's just end that argument right there. But I do have LeBron as the 2nd or 3rd best player of all time. Magic's in there. Kareem is in there. Depending on how you want to flow, I can make arguments for those guys as well. Then I also have in there Bill Russell, Shane. Joe's never seen him play. We realize that. Great defensive center, outstanding leader of the Boston Celtics. Then at number 5, Shane, I'm going with number 30 from Davidson College, number 30 from the Golden State Warriors, 2-time MVP, 4-time NBA champion, greatest shooter of all time, Wardell Stephen Curry. You know that guy, number 30.
That's great. And it's great that you threw in some guys from your era as well, old man. That was good. We like that. Education.
Love it. That is points made, guys. Thanks to UPCOZ. Don't forget to check out their Game of the Week markets and promotions across the NBA and NBL, and also some special features around the rest of the FIFA World Cup as well. Head to upcoz.com. Time to go crystal gazing now. Got to give D a shout out. He actually got 6 out of 7 in the tipping this week. So you have overtaken Hammer, D. Neither of you have caught up to me yet. I'm still leading, but only by 1. So could get a little hairy. There's one more game of round 9 tonight. Of course, the Hawks taking on Melbourne United. Round 10 tips off on Thursday with an absolute cracker. The City Kings heading over to take on the Breakers. D, who have you got in that one?
A little chink in the armor from New Zealand. Perth handled them nicely. So I'm going to go with Sydney. I think Sydney are a better basketball team and trending up. Maybe New Zealand peaked a little bit too early, Shane.
After that one, South East Melbourne take on the Hawks. Home court advantage, Hammer?
Oh, no doubt about that. This will be 20 plus. South East Melbourne are just starting to roll. I've spoken about the last couple of weeks. Feel like they've got a really well-balanced team. Still want to see what they can do come playoff time, but I think they are a top 4 team and they're playing with a bit of confidence.
Next up, the 36ers, of course, coming up that loss to the Kings. D, they host the Wildcats on Friday night. Who wins that?
No shame in that performance yesterday. They'll take Perth without a problem. I think Adelaide are starting to find their rhythm.
It's a busy week for the Hawks. They head up to Cairns on Saturday night. Hammer, who wins?
Yep, another big one. Unfortunately, the Hawks will go down in this one. And like Derek mentioned earlier in the show about the way Cairns play, and they're up-tempo, they're all over the place, they really pressure the ball. A lot of athletes on that team, so I think that's a big win for Cairns.
All right, Derek, United then play host to the Bullets. What is your crystal ball telling you?
I'm going to go with United here. Unless Baines is back and maybe they get one more other person back, I think United will be too tough.
Next up, South East Melbourne taking on Adelaide. Hammer, that's going to be a bit of a cracker.
That's a flip of the coin for me. Again, two playoff teams, but I'm going to go for a little bit of an upset, if you can call it that, but Adelaide winning that one on the road. I like their balance. I like their team. They've got some real upside, some real size too. Even just seeing the game yesterday with Franks and being there in person, he is really big for the way he plays the game as well. I think they're just going to sneak home on the road.
Next up, Derek, the Kings welcome Tassie to WPCOZ Bank Arena. The last time they played there, they went down in Game 3 of the Grand Final Series. Will it be the same result, do you think?
Well, Sydney also might be welcoming D-Ruck because I might make an appearance in the Harbour City next weekend. I'm going to go with the Kings in this game, however. Kings going to have a big weekend.
Round 10, Hammer, ending with the Wildcats taking on Melbourne United over there at RAC Arena. Who wins?
The NBL struggling to get people that want to work for them out of Sydney, are they? Good on you, D. Way to come back to Sydney. That's what we like to see. Come off the bench, pal. I'm going to go with Perth. I reckon Perth can get this one done. Melbourne have already won this game earlier in the season in Perth, but I think Perth will turn things around, even though I'm not convinced about where they're at. Corey Webster needs to have another big game. He could be their solution right now. He was huge in that game in New Zealand, probably hasn't done it often enough, but we know he's capable. If Blanchfield and Norton are down, he's the guy that can step up.
This guy just will not give Brady Manek any love. You will not acknowledge that Manek had a good game.
Mate, because all you look at is the box scores to see what he does at the offensive end. He still doesn't rebound and still doesn't defend. I know you don't know anything about those aspects of the game, D, but that is important when you're about 7 foot tall.
Beautiful. Hey, D, if you are in town for that game against the Kings, we expect you to be on this desk next Monday as well.
Come on, bring it on.
We'll see you then.
Sure thing. All right, bye-bye.
This week, thanks to 2K, we are going in depth with South East Melbourne big man Alan Williams. Alan, thank you so much for joining us on the basketball show. First up, your nickname is Sauce. Can I ask where that comes from?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. Sauce comes from my little brother, Cody, who made a comic skit one day on the road trip and ended up nicknaming me Big Sauce. Sauce is a synonym for like swag and cool stuff like that. So obviously I'm big, I got the swag, and so Big Sauce kind of stuck, and I've been running with it ever since.
Big Sauce, it's got a ring to it, love it. You are averaging 17 and 9 this season with the Phoenix and having a really positive impact within the team. What do you think has been the sort of catalyst that's enabled you to so seamlessly fit in with the group?
Yeah, I think it's just a product of the talent that's around me. Tommy and Simon and them did a really good job of creating the team and getting a roster of guys together that really complement each other really well. So, like I said, just a byproduct of the system and having good teammates around me, finding me in places where I can be successful. So it's just hopefully we can continue to have it work the way we have been so far.
Now, big fella, you've played in the NBA, the G League, Russia, China, now in Australia. What's been the biggest adjustment to style, and how are you enjoying the style that we play in Australia?
Yeah, no, the NBL is super fast-paced, and so I think that was a little bit of an adjustment coming from Europe, where it's a lot more methodical and slower paced. Very different from the NBA, whereas the NBL is closer to that NBA type of atmosphere and up and down pace. So just getting back to that up and down game had been a little bit of a thing for me at the first part of the season, but now I feel like I've caught my stride and I'm rocking, so it's all good.
We love the rivalry games, and you've been lucky enough to play in a few throwdowns already so far. Can you talk us through the emotion that's involved in those? Because it was very clear after your win the other night that John Cain Arena is owned by the Phoenix at the moment. What is that like for you playing in those games?
Oh, it's massive. You get to talk and you read the papers and you see everything kind of going on amongst this throwdown and how in the past South East Melbourne Phoenix haven't gotten a bunch of wins in that series. And to be here now and to really be able to impact the change and try to really balance this rivalry out and do that kind of thing has been a really honoring experience. And then to be able to play in front of our fans twice now doing it, it's just been great. So we got one more game against them, so I'm sure that's going to be rocking like they all have been. So I'm looking forward to it.
Mate, we've seen you're an NBA caliber player. You've been there. What's been the feedback for you to be able to live that dream and get back to the NBA? Because I assume it's every player's goal to be able to get back there.
Yeah, honestly, I've been there and I've done it. I enjoyed my time in the NBA, probably the highlight of my career as a professional. But at this point in time, I'm really happy here in Australia. I enjoy the NBL and I enjoy the team that I play for along with my teammates. The transition over here in Australia has been really easy, and so the lifestyle is great. And so I'm not really focused on trying to get back to the NBA. If the opportunity presented itself, I would obviously take it, but it's not my main focus. Right now, I'm really, really excited about being in this NBL and continuing to try to help it grow as best as I can. So, yeah, I like it here.
We love having you here in the NBL, definitely. From a player's point of view, being in that sort of that group and that culture, from a fan's point of view, can you share what it's like on a day-to-day basis? Perhaps somebody who doesn't get to see what it's like for you guys. What is a day in the life like?
Yeah, today's an off day, so I got a chance to get up, get some coffee, walk around a little bit, hit the mall, and do stuff that kind of normal people get a chance to do. But on our training days, it usually starts with a wake up early, get out to weights, where we all train and work out in the gym together as a team. From there, we'll grab some breakfast, or brekkie as y'all call it out here in Australia. I'll get a little bit of Vegemite toast, doing that thing. But after that, we'll go to our training session, our practice session. And there's where we really break down the details of previous games and stuff that we want to do moving forward. So a lot of it's team-based, and everything is basically us spending a lot of time together as a group. And so that's where our camaraderie is really well, because we got a lot of guys on the team that are really likable. So day in the life is pretty much work, and then I get home, recover, and try to go back and do it again the next day. So.
Mate, first of all, I've got to jump on that. You actually like Vegemite on toast.
That's exactly
you
right.
might be the first American that's ever done that. Secondly, I know you got your partner here. Have you both got to experience the coffee? You mentioned coffee in Melbourne, best in the world, or one of them, especially compared to what you'd be used to in America with Starbucks.
Yeah, no, I definitely do like Vegemite. Tried it a couple of times. I try to get it in anytime I'm at like a hotel or something like that. They typically have it, so I'll throw some of that on my toast with a bunch of butter. And then, yeah, she and I have been enjoying the coffee here. You can definitely taste the difference. I stick with my Starbucks on game days just from like a superstition thing, but all the coffee joints that I've been to out here have been really phenomenal. So it's good because I love me some coffee.
Hey, one of your teammates the other day after the game, Gary Brown, said that he should have assist stats that are through the roof, but thanks to you and missing a couple of bunnies, you're letting him down from that regard. What do you say to that when he gives you a bit of stick?
I love it. It's challenging me to be better. Obviously, he wants his assist totals, and I want to get him those. And I feel like maybe out of 8 or 9 of those assists that he's getting per game, I'm contributing to half of them. So I know it's coming from a place of love and motivation. But sometimes you got to miss one on purpose to try to get an offensive rebound, so you get that rebound stat and the point stat too. So that's everybody's counting them nowadays. So, but I told him I won't miss them anymore.
That is all we've got time for. We've had sauce. We've had some saucy stories. Yep. Thank you, Director Dave. I love it when he feeds us with those lines. It's been a lot of fun as always. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks to TCL Mobile, 2K23 and UPCOZ. We'll see you next week.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.